Okay, you're welcome to the second day of this masterclass. And as usual, um, we are really glad. I really hope that what you learned yesterday, really advanced your knowledge of Excel, gave you a broader perspective of what data analytics is and how it fits into working as an enterprise data analyst in a real organization. All right, so today, about myself, which I've said the other day. Today, we're going to be dealing with data sorting and filtering, and I will just continue from where I stopped the previous day. Yes, and when we look at data, for example, many times we find ourselves in a scenario where we want to sort our data, we want to filter our data, right? We want to be able to check out the data, maybe sort some columns from highest to lowest, maybe a date column from the most recent date to the oldest date, or a revenue column from the largest revenue sales to the lowest revenue sales. So how do we do that? Quickly, so I'll just duplicate this one from, this is where we stopped yesterday, and I'll just duplicate this. So I'm just going to move this, create a copy and duplicate this, and I will name this day 2, right? And I'll move this here. I'll rather just hide this one since we don't need it today. Then what I'm just going to do is I'll delete these ones. We don't need them for what we want to do today. And what else? We don't need everything from here, so I'm going to delete it. I've duplicated what we did the previous day, so it's safe. Don't worry that I'm deleting them. So let me highlight all of this. Yes, so we have our data fresh from the start. Now there's a scenario where we want to filter our data, right? This is starting from, we want to sort our data, and let's say we want to sort our data from, we want to sort it by revenue currently. So I think I've already, let me see the date for this one. Okay, yeah, so it's scattered. So we have dates, we have ship date, the date it was ordered, and the date the product was shipped. We have product ID, we have revenue, gross profit, and all of that, right? So what if I want to reorder this table based on the most recent order should show here, should show at the top, and the oldest order should show at beneath the table, right? And imagine we have thousands of rows of data. So for example, this is a use case. We have about 9,800 data. I got this data from this table, so I just had to reduce it to make it easy for us to learn what we want to learn. But even this 9,800 rows of data is quite very small when you're dealing with real life projects. I mean, when you're dealing with real life projects, you could be dealing with as much as 2 million rows, 10 million rows of data, 50 million rows of data in a company. 50 million rows of data. How are you going to do that? When we start talking about millions of rows of data in the industry, that is where Excel will fail you, right? But Excel can handle anywhere from 0 to 1 million rows of data very much. Yeah, let's say 0 to 900,000 rows of data. By the time it is getting to a million rows of data, Excel begins to slow down a lot, and it can even crash the system. So anything beyond 900,000, you don't want to do it in Excel. Even with 900,000, will still be very slow, but you can still manage to use Excel. By the time you're dealing with more than a million rows of data, you start looking at Power BI if you want to stick with Microsoft, or you have to use SQL directly to query information from the database. So we want to sort our data, for example. How we want to sort it based on date. There are scenarios where you want to look at the most recent order should show at the top, then orders with the highest revenues follow. So that means we have to scenario where we want to order by date, we want to sort this table by order date and revenue. Most times what people do is they are able to sort based on one parameter, but don't sort by two other date and revenue. How do we do that? All I need to do is I'll come here and I'll click sort. So when I click sort, let me take it slow. So I'll come from home page, I'll go to data page, this data tab here, go to the data tab, follow my cursor please, data, and I'm just going to see sort. So when I see sort, because I'm using MacBook, the interface might look different from yours using the Windows. But if you're not seeing it, you could as well just come here and search for sort. You could search for sort in your search on your Excel in Windows. So you click sort, and I want to sort first by order dates. Is it asking me from you want to order it from the oldest date to the newest, or newest to the oldest? I want to do from newest to the oldest, right? So if I click oldest to newest, you will notice that I don't know if you noticed if anything changed. So I'll say from newest to oldest, and I'll click OK. So you see that it has sorted, changed the date. 15/04/2018 is the one shown at the top. So I'll go back to sort. I've done oldest to newest, then I'll sort by another criteria, by revenue. So hold on, we have 2017 here. Let me color code each of these days. We have 2017, then we have 2018. No, let me use another color. Let me use this. Then we have 2016. I'm intentionally doing this. I want to show you something. Then we have 2015. Yes, so the rest is 2015. So we have this now. Good. So we have sort it by date 2018 here. Now what if I now want to rearrange such that in 2017 I want the most recent in 2017, because we have sort by date, it is ordering everything by date, but I want to do an extra sort such that I want this table to show me the highest revenues at the top. So what it's going to do is it's going to look at this table, and even though we have sort by date to be the most recent date, it is still not, it doesn't know whether you want to sort it based on the highest revenue at the top or not. So I have to add an extra instruction that, okay, even though you have sort by date, the most recent date to be recent, I want to now sort this table again for the highest revenues to be at the top. So even though the highest revenue overall in this table is 2000, that 2000 is not going to show here, because the most recent date, that 2000 is not falling in the most recent date. What it will bring, it will bring 2000 to be here, right? If it was I had not sort by date now, and I just sort by revenue alone, let's do it. So let's say I change this date now. I say I want to sort by revenue, and I said from largest. So what it will do is it will bring 2000. Can you see? It does not care anything about the date again. It will bring 2000 here, right? And it will order everything 2000. So you have the highest revenue, largest revenue here, then the lowest here, without respecting to date. But the moment I come here and I say sort by dates, right, newest to oldest, it does it like this. Then I still want to sort by revenue. Then what I do is add an extra filter here, another sorting here. Then I say sort from largest to smallest. What do you think it will do? Oh, this is disappointing me. So let us see what's going on. Largest to smallest. So we are seeing our revenue largest. Let us do from smallest to largest, if it will give us anything. Okay, so smallest to largest. So it's actually working. So you see from the smallest date, something seems to be wrong here. Okay, let me highlight it. So let us do it again, because when we say smallest to largest, that means the smallest one must be at the top and the largest must be beneath for each day. But now let us do largest to smallest. Okay, so there seems to be something. Okay, exactly. So I was looking at it by year. So if you look at this, we have these 2 days, right? We have 2 days. It is sorting it by day. Let me see if we can sort by year. Let us see if we can, ensure that it is sorting it by year. Let's hold on. Let's go back to our sort. So we should be able to make it by year. Okay, that's it. Let us see. Okay, no problem. So now what it is doing is it is looking at the values for each day, right? So there's 1504, then there is 5th of this is December 12th or May 5, or this is May 12th or December 5. We will know later. We are still going to get there. But look at it now. We have a day, we have 2 days here. Look at these 2 days. That means the highest revenue is showing at the top for those 2 days, right? This one too, we have the same day here. Is the highest revenue that is showing at the top. Can you see it? So this 2 days too, it is the highest revenue that is showing at the top. Each other day is the same. Look at this. Excellent. Look at this. Just look at this. This is beautiful. All of these days are the same, but it is ordering them based on the highest revenue. So even though the highest revenue overall is 2000, it is not showing it at the top because it is first of all looking at the date as first filter, as the first sorting, then revenue as the second sorting. Yeah, so that's about filtering and sorting. So what if we want to now say, okay, remove any, so we want to use the filtering. For example, there's a feature where if you don't want to use the sorting, I can as well just select all of this and just click filter. Can you see filter here? But if you're not seeing filter here, just search for filter on your search bar, and I click filter. You see, so I've added filter, or I could as well just come here and add it. So what I do is what it's saying, it's the same following of this same instruction. So I want to filter the numbers in the revenue to be any revenue that is more than 500 is what it show me. So now imagine this is now 100,000 rules, and I just want to see revenues. I want to filter this data to show me only revenues that are above 500. What do I do? All I just need to do is I come here. I'm going to say greater than or equal to 500. Anything below 500 is going to remove it. Can you see that? So we have filtered our data. Let's do the same thing for here. Here we have about 9,801 rows. I'm just going to do the same thing for sales. So I'll click filter, and the moment I just say greater than or equals to 500 and I apply it, what is going to give me is, let us count now. So we have, it has reduced the table, filtered out data sales that are below 500. That means our table size has reduced from 9,800 to what? Look at my cursor here, to 1,146. So it is very powerful. It's a very, very powerful feature that you can use to really understand your data. So let me remove this filter. I'm just going to clear filter and it will return back. So back to this place. So that is it about filtering. For pivot table, pivot tables, they are a powerful Excel feature that allows you to summarize, analyze, explore, and even present large amounts of data in a very structured format. Instead of manually sorting the way we were doing previously, a pivot table will dynamically organize it into meaningful insights. So let's follow this instruction here. It's the same thing. In the pivot table field pane, drag customer. So this is what we're going to do. Just follow me carefully. I will go to the insert tab and click pivot table. So I will remove this filter now. Clear filter so that I can see our data. I will highlight it. And it's saying we should go to the insert, and I'm just going to select pivot, right? So let's follow the instruction. Say insert, then pivot table. You see pivot table here. If you're not seeing pivot table quickly, you'll just search for pivot. You can only search on Excel. You see pivot table here, and I click pivot table. Then it's asking me. So this one is just what this one is asking me is it has selected the range. He said, do you want to put it in a new worksheet or this existing worksheet? I'll put it in a new worksheet. The default is new worksheet. So our pivot table is already created. Can you see that? Even though it's the same table, all you are seeing here are the column names. You see? Look at this is our column names. Can you see them? All this that you see here, all you are seeing here, all that I've highlighted in green, all that you see here highlighted in green are pivots, column headers. So you can see our column headers here, and it's the same that is here. So where's our pivot table? These are pivot tables, these are column headers. So what do we want to do with pivot table? They are very powerful way of doing analysis, very, very powerful. So please pay attention. So we want to do a simple calculation of knowing sales by city. We want to be able to get total number of sales, total sum of sales, or total sum of revenue by city, and customer name. How do we do that? So what we do is we are going to drag our revenue, or just click on it. It will know where to put it itself. It's intelligent enough. But if you just want to know, you can also drag. I'll put it in values. It is summing up all. Can you see? Let me zoom in for you. It has summed up all the revenue without adding any property to break it down. So it's the same thing. You see the sum that we did here the previous time. Can you see it? 8,907. This is the same thing. It just summed it up without doing any calculation. Can you see? This is what pivot table is for. So we come here, and I want to now break it down by customer ID. So it will bring it's say customer ID. Then I want to bring it by city. Where's our city name? So it is bringing. So because I'm just clicking, I'm not dragging. It is just assuming I want to put all of them as row. But I could just decide. I could uncheck city and drag city to show as columns. So this is a bit more comfortable to understand. You see Seattle, Concord, Fort Lauderdale, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and it's now giving you total sales by customer and total sales overall, which is the number we saw earlier. Then it's also giving us total sales by city. For example, we have Los Angeles appearing twice, so it has summed up all these sales for Los Angeles alone. So in a very short way, you're able to get a quick overview of what your data, what your sales revenue is, and just by using pivot table. Now there's a problem. How do we know each customer? What if we want to reward our customer that, oh wow, the customer with the highest number of sales is customer SO20335. How do you identify the person? So here, what we can do, we have a customer table here, and we talked about X lookup. So I'll come here, I'll just say customer name. So you should remember your X lookup, and I will just say X lookup to bring customer name to this place. I'll select the value I want to bring in, then lookup array. I'll come here, the customer ID. So how do you do this X lookup? Look at it again. Let me come back. So the first thing you want to put here is your lookup value. Your lookup value, right? Let me delete this. Look at my cursor, follow my cursor here. I could edit it here and I could edit it here. So let me come and edit it here. So I'm going to select our first customer ID here, and I'll click comma. So now it's now asking me, where do you want to look up the customer ID? Where do you want to look up your customer IDs from? So because these same customer IDs are in this place, but we can't manually be checking them, what I will do is I will now select this, right? And then sorry, I have to do this entirely. Oh no, just hold on. So let's start it from scratch. Let me not confuse you. So I'll do a lookup. I'll start from here. This is what I want to look up. In where? Where do you want to look it up? I want to look it up in this place. So I'll come here and select the entire 794 unique customers. I'll click comma, it's asking me what do you want to return after you have looked it up. I want to return customer name. Can you see? Okay, it has found customer, it has mapped the customer name to all the range from A2 to A794 rows. Then if it does not find that customer name, what should it return? Then I'll say customer missing, right? And I'll just close it at that. So by the time I do that, what I do is it has what giving me, so it's saying here now is the same customer. Can you see that? So I've gotten my customer name as a new table here. So how do I now ensure that my pivot table is showing customer name? Can you see my pivot table is not yet showing me customer name column, as I have just added it to this place. So what do I do? If you want it to update, what you do is click on any part of the pivot table, come to data and click what? Refresh, right? And it will show you customer name column in this place. It should show us customer name in this place. Let's see. You should be able to see our customer name in this place. Okay. Oh, this is saying there's a problem with our customer. So let's look at it. What is the problem? So I will try to edit the pivot table. So let's see field settings. Yeah, it's good that we are troubleshooting this together. So I'll come, so I've seen where the issue is. So I'll come here, come to pivot table analysis. Can you see pivot table analysis? I'll change data source, and because it is not, see now, it is not included. Even though I refresh, it is only going to see update within these cells. Can you see where this moving line is? So I want it to include it stopped at L. Can you see? So I will edit it. I will say M instead of L. So the moment I do that, it will put it into contribution, and we should see customer name here. So we have customer name as we have added, and I will click customer name here. Now we are able to see customer name. Then I'll just uncheck customer ID. So in data cleaning in Excel, this is where we come to doing more advanced cleaning of our data. And let's say, for example, you want to handle missing values in your data. How do you do it? These are some of the things we did yesterday, but just to give us more advanced way to handle our data. So let's say, for example, if you want to handle missing data in your as in handle missing value, for example, in our gross profit table. So for example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete some of this information here for us to see. So I've deleted about 2. So how do we handle? What are different ways for us to handle this? There are many ways, but one of the things we can first do is, if for example you have let's use this for example. Now I'm going to delete this. I'll delete this. Remember, this is a table of 9,000 rows, so I'm giving you a real life scenario now of why this is very, very useful for you. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this. I'm just deleting randomly. I'm not deleting them randomly, deleting values randomly, which is bound to happen. It can happen a lot in a real life scenario, right? So this is we dealing with what 9,000 rows of data. Now, how do you identify missing values in your data, right? What I can do is use this formula. If let's come here and say, okay, let's just say missing data status, and I could just say if right is blank. Remember, we've used if before, but we're now inserting another formula into it. If is blank, this, right? Remember the logical test, the other test we did before for that other one was if for example this is less than 50, then it should give us maybe bad sales, right? and if it is not less than 50, we say good enough, like we did yesterday. But this time around, we don't want to use less than. We can use other conditions. The condition we want to use is if it is blank, then tell me something. So if I'm going to say if it's blank, there's a function inside the function we use. You say if it's blank, okay, it's blank. So what this is blank is going to say if this place is blank, right, it will turn to true. So if it is true here, what should it give us? You say missing value. Missing what? Value. And close it. And if it is not blank, as this case is, you say you just put, instead of even, so now remember the other one, we say if it is not true, then maybe say good enough. But this time around, I don't want to say anything good enough, just give me what was there before. Can you see? So this time around, what changed in this formula is, instead of me saying, giving it another telling it, oh yeah, if it is not blank, say good enough. That is not the case here. There are different reasons why with this formula. In this scenario, I'm just saying if it is not blank, just return what was there before and press enter. So I'm now going to do this. It has filled it up. Can you see why I cannot drag in this scenario? I can't be dragging down to 9,000 rows. So that's why I just double click. That's a shortcut. Now, even though I've done that, it is still hard for me to identify all the missing values. I can't keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. But what do I do? This is where all these formulas come together. So one of the best things to do in this place is just come here, sort and filter. Just filter it again. I just want to identify missing. I search for missing, then I apply filter, right? And once I do that, I've been able to identify all the records that have missing sales value. I can even highlight them. Then I clear the filter again. Can you see it? Then it's now easy for me to identify the ones that are what missing. Can you see them? It's just easy for me to quickly identify. And I could even sort this place to sort to filter by color. Not really, okay, sort by color. So the ones that are missing, which are dark green, I bring them up here. Can you see? So this is a very interesting way for you to interact with your data, missing values. Yes. So in the instance where, let us use this one now. In the instance where you have missing values, where we have identified missing values now, right? So let me take it back. I don't want to sort them again. So where I have identified missing values, one of the ways to fill up missing values is to say, I'm going to come and create another column here. Or okay, instead of creating another column, just follow me. I want us to implement this. One of the things I can do is fill up all missing values with what? The mean of, or the average or the median of the entire sales. So what it will do, so let's bring it up. Okay, instead of bringing it up, let's just do it like this. So what I'm going to do is, every place there's a missing value, follow me carefully, I'm going to replace it with the entire, I'm going to do an average. Let's come down here. Let's go to the bottom of the, this is looking a bit more complex now because we are dealing with what? More data. So now follow me closely. This is our sales, yes, and missing status. So let me identify this so that I'm not using the wrong table. So this is not what we want to use, or rather this is the one we want to use. This is the one we want to use. So I will just okay, excellent. So now that we've identified the column we want to use, just for easy identification, this is the sales column we want to fill up missing values, right? What we do is you come here. So let's say, for example, we want to fill every missing value with, so here it's saying fill up missing value with median, right? So before we do that, let's say, for example, we want to fill up all the missing values. I highlight everything, right, from your control shift down, keep pressing it till you get to the last, till you get to the bottom of the table. Just keep pressing it. It is stopping because of the empty rows. So I highlight it to that place and I press my Ctrl G. That's go to then I select blank. So it has highlighted, so it's showing me the first, it's asking me what do I want to fill. So I can see that this is highlighted, and every other one, you look at this missing space is highlighted too, but the way it's highlighting them is different from this first one, because this first one is the one that is active. So you don't need to click anything, just need to start typing. It will already automatically appear here. If I want to type, if I want to replace all missing values with maybe missing, all I just need to do is just type missing. I just type missing, and it just fills everything up. Oh, okay, sorry. So I didn't do that. I should have pressed enter instead of pressing Control Enter. So let me go back. So once I type missing here, it just fills everything up. As I press my Control Enter, and you see that everything has been filled with missing. Can you see? But this is not what we want to do. We want to fill it up. So if I should come here and sort by maybe cell color. Let me sort this place by cell color. So if I should sort it by cell color green, you see that everyone that was missing is already, can you see? But this is not what we want to do. So let me Control Z and Control Z again. Yes. So what we want to do, let me Control Z again. Right. So what we want to do is actually, where's our missing value? Sorry. Don't worry, I'm going to do it. Let me make this ascending back. Yeah, sort it back ascending. So our first missing value is here. So what I want to do is I'll highlight everything, the entire row again. Painful experience, but we just have to do it. So I enter the entire column, sorry, instead of row. I highlight it again, and I'll just press my Ctrl G, come to special, click on blanks, and I will fill it up with median. So before I do the median, let us calculate the median first. Sorry, let me just enlarge this back. Yes. So let's do the median for this row. Let's know the median. So this is what I want to know. What's the median for? I have to put it in a separate column. The median for the entire column of sales. I have to do it here. I highlight everything. This is 9,000 rows of data we want to do median for, and you can see in my cursor here, follow my cursor, look at it, my formula is still active. The moment I press enter, it will give me the median. So our median is for 54.68, right? 54.68. Good. So what I'm going to do is to come here, I'll copy it, and just paste it as a value so that it removes the formula from there. So you see the difference between this and this is that this is the same value but it's active on the formula. This is the value itself without the formula. So now I will highlight everything. We want to fill up every missing space with our median value, which is 54.78, and I'll just highlight everything again. Yes. And do that, then Ctrl G, special, blank. Okay, so it is taking me to the first row. All I just need to type is 54.78, and I press my Ctrl Enter. If I press Enter alone, it will only fill up the first space, empty space. It will not fill up every other empty space. So I have to press Ctrl Enter to fill up every empty space, even if those empty spaces are 5,000 rows. So I press enter, so you can see that all our empty spaces are filled with data. So the moment I come here and I sort this by cell color, you see that all our empty spaces are filled with what? 54.78. And you see that see, yeah, 54.78. So the same thing we can do here. Okay, let me just delete this. So for example, we have an empty space. This was meant to be an empty space. I had already done some. All of these are empty spaces. So let's say, for example, we have the median. We want to get the median first before we do the empty space fill up. And we know our median for this row is 6.91. So all I just need to do is highlight everything. The same thing I did for that other one. I'm just showing you for a more shorter way so that you understand it better. And I press Ctrl G, special blank, and once it is highlighted, it is to highlight the first empty cell in that column. So since it's highlighted, just start typing. So we want to fill it up with 6.91, so I just type 6.91. If I press enter, it will only fill up this 6.91. It will not fill up every other empty space. So I have to press Ctrl enter, and you see that is how you fill up your empty space. Yeah, so we have gotten that already. Removing duplicates from data. How do we remove duplicates? How do we identify duplicates from our data? You can use a formula, count if this is this. So for example, we'll come to products, right? I had already done this, so I'm just going to delete this again and do it again for you guys. So we already identified duplicates here. So what if we don't know that there are duplicates here? Let me just blank it out. No field. We have our products. Now notice there are facts. Remember during this masterclass I said something about Ngozi being a tall, beautiful like complexion lady, but Ngozi can lie. Ngozi being a tall, beautiful like complexion lady is a fact. No, sorry, it's a, that's a property. That is how you characterize her. That's how you describe her in terms of her physical property, right? That's how you describe her. And that is how you describe a business. Businesses have properties, but businesses also carry events like Ngozi lying. Ngozi can eat a lot. She eats. She's always eating, and so every time Ngozi eats, that is an event. Anytime Ngozi is lying, that is an event. All of that are stored as facts. If Ngozi was a business, when she's eating, will be recorded as a business. Will be recorded as a fact. So businesses have products, but they sell products. When they sell products, they are recorded as facts. Others, can you see? So these are just basic data we as a concept. I want to quickly just help us to explain. But you see, the reason I'm explaining all of this is because for a typical product table, there should not be duplicates. The product table should contain unique information for every product, and we should avoid having duplicates in our product table because the product table is a property. If we see duplicates in the fact table, is because yes, they are bound to have, but that's just leave that for now. So let's say for example we want to identify duplicates in this data. How do we do it? There are many ways to do it, but if you want to use an Excel formula, all I just need to do is maybe duplicate status, create a new column and say count. So let's look at the formula. It says count if. So I highlight my range, count if. I want to check my product ID, right? I'll highlight everything. Then once I highlight everything, I want to fix it. So I'll come back here and press my FN4 fixed. I don't want it to go beyond that range. So I'll do that. Then once I do that, I want it to start looking at from A2. That is column 1, cell 2. Then I say anytime anyone is greater than from this range that I've selected, starting from A2 to right A40. If any of them appears more than once, that's if any is greater than 1, it should highlight it as what? Duplicate. So let's look at it. Count if duplicate is what? To find repeated values. So it will return true or false. Can you see? So the moment I bring it, so anyone that is appearing only once, that means it is not greater than 1. It will return to false. But anyone that is appearing twice, that means it is greater than 1. It will appear as true. So we see our true here. So I create a filter. And I'll do that, and what I'll just do is on check. I want to see all the missing values, so I highlight them just for easy color coding. Then I clear filter. So I've been able to highlight to identify all the values that are duplicates. So you see them, they have duplicates. So this is very useful for you if you want to identify duplicates in your data, and you now delete accordingly as you want. Yes, formatting text to proper case using proper. So this is very useful. Say for example, so let's just try it out. Duplicate or text formatting, text formatting. So let's just try that formula out, and all that just needs to do is proper, and I'll select one of these. I'll select this, sorry. So let's look at it. I'll select, yes, I'll just select one cell. I don't need to select as a range. So it will create it as a proper case. Now, what's the difference? If I should change this one to storage, you see this is in capital letter, all in capital letter, but it didn't make any difference because I've made this word proper. So it is still active. If I should now change the word storage, it will not remove the D. Its function is only to format the text case to be proper case. First alphabet in that word should be uppercase, then the remaining alphabet in that word should be lowercase. But can you see now? Look at it. So just by adding D, that means it is seeing, it is still connected to this cell. The only difference is that it is formatting them to be proper case. Same thing, for example, if I should say this one to be arts, ART. So you see now, look at it, it has updated. So this time around, ARTD, you see that it is still the same ARTD, but this time around it is giving you the proper formatting in the right case. So that's just a use case for that. Yeah, the same thing for each number, and ensure numerical columns contain only numbers using yes. So for example, let us go back to our fact table, and we have this gross profit here. Let's say this one is empty. Let's say KK, right? And let's give this one LN. Now we want to ensure that everything in this gross profit is numbers, because these are ways to ensure that you don't have discrepancies in your data when you want to do calculation. They don't spoil your calculation, because there are some formulas that they will only take a column that has only numbers and not text. The moment text is there, it will break the formula and there will be an error. So it will be good to implement this into them. So you say is number, all I just need to do is what equals to is number, and I come here, select, and see. So when we see that it is false, we can now easily identify that, okay, which one of them are not numbers, which one of them. So let us use this for example. So imagine we have this column to be so imagine we have this column to be, let's say, one of these columns here. So I'm just going to do it randomly, then we will look for it. I'm just going to do it randomly, because this is the essence of these formulas. I'm just going to delete them. So this one is saying missing value because there's an active formula here. There's an active this thing here. Good. So now I will select this, and let me just remove this, or I'll check this one. Let me just hide this. This is not what we need now. So what I do is I'll come here and say I'll give this one FF234. I'm just creating numbers, and we leave some blank spaces, then delete again, then maybe put RTA, just random numbers. Then because these things are much, it's not easy for you to quickly identify, right? If I should come here now and reshuffle it back by numbers, you will find it very hard to identify. These are for the missing numbers that we created earlier, right? So what if I can't even find those numbers I edited, that I deleted, and I changed them? So okay, I've seen them, but you see, it took me a bit of time. So what do I do? All I need to do is let's look at the formula. Is number, yes. So I want to identify which one of them are numbers or not. So I'll come here, and number status, and I'll just say its number. So this helps you to be able to identify discrepancies in your data, and it's saying true, it's a number. So I'll drag it down and it will go to the last. You see that has gone to the last. Now what do I do? All I just need to do come here is create a filter for it. Now I want to identify which one of them are false, which of them are not numbers. So I can identify them. You see, out of 9,800 rows of data, it's easy for me to now identify which one of them are not numbers. So the ones that are empty or not numbers, it has identified them for me. So it's easy for me to now know, oh, okay, I can see that, oh, all my information are here. I can identify the ones that are not numbers and the ones that are what? Numbers. This one with the former missing values. Then I can now say, okay, I want to see the ones that are not numbers, and they are here. So you see that it's easy for me to use color coding to identify. Okay, then I make adjustment and we are good to go. Straight by and by. The text is probably for formatting your dates. This is a very tricky one. In fact, no matter, even the most experienced data analysts, data scientists, data engineers, they have problem with dates. And know it well early enough is going to save you a lot of headache, because in this world we have the United States style of dating and we have the other part of the world style of dating. The United States use month, day, year, and every other part of the world uses day, month, year. So if you see dates, for example, dates are very tricky. If I'm going to ask you, what day is this? Is this August 11th, 2017 or November 8th, 2017? Is this June 6th, 2017 or is this June 12th, 2017 or December 6th, 2017? Can you see that? This one is easy to, oh, okay, we don't have any months beyond 12. So we know that this is what, November 22nd. We know this is November 22nd. But what of this one? Is this on November 11 or is this November 10th or October 11? Can you see that? So it is tricky. It can be very tricky. That's why when you are getting your data, you need to also know how the date is stored. Is it stored in the date of date, time, day, month, year, or month, day, year? So one of the things you can do is maybe you want to intentionally format your data. And look at this with me. So I will intentionally skew this data. I will say this one to be 11/22/2016. Now I literally changed it from day, month, year to month, day, year. I changed it from day, month, year, because 22 was here before, which was day, month, and year. Then I changed it to month, day, year, which was 11th, 22nd, 2016. I'll do the same thing for another date. I'll say this should be 08/27. Good. It's easy to identify. So what if I now come here and say this one should be, this is formally, let us uncheck. So this is what, 0609. I want to change to, it is 0906. I want to change to 0609. So you see, even after putting to 0609, it is still here. It is not highlighting it like this one's. So let us use our text. Let me create a new column beside and say, okay, order date formatted, and I'll say text. So let's look at the formula. Text, select the cell and give it the proper, this thing. So I'll say text, select this here, then we'll say what, month, day, year, or day, month, year. It's asking me format style. So if I should say, if I tell it that month should come first, day should come second, year should come last. So let's try it. Month, day, year, and let's see what to give us. Now, because we say month, day, year, it knows that what? There is no month that is beyond there's no month that is beyond 12. So what it is doing is, it said, remember we said month, look at the formula here, month first, day second, year third. So it knows that April is the month, so it has rearranged it has brought April here, then day to be in the middle. So we have April 15, 2018. So let us drag down and see what to give us. Now the same thing it has done for this. It replaced 12 to be at the first, assuming it as month, and 5th to be as the day. So what if in our data actually this is what? May 5, 2017. This is not December, this is May 12, 2017, not December 5. Because if you say it is May 12, that means 05 is the month, 12 is the day. So look at it now. Because we set our format to be month, day, year, it is assuming it that what? 12 is the month and 05 is the day. So it is telling us that what? It is what? December 5, 2017. So one of the things you can do is ensure that you understand how your initial date is stored. And this is captured, maybe when you're doing a real life project, you may not be able to find it easy in Excel. You see, the Excel also has its own limitations. So one of the ways to really know how your data is stored is understand the source, where the data is coming from, how it was captured in the database, and it will give you a good example. Understand, because another thing you have to understand is when you bring in data into Excel, it's based on the region you are in. Excel will usually reformat without you knowing your dates, and it will cause confusion, and it has caused confusion for a lot of people, even for me. So that's just it about that formula, but use it carefully and with discretion. Splitting data into columns, text to columns. Yes. So we have used the trim and all of that. So let's look at this. So let's say, for example, we want to split this data. So let me check if we did text. I'm sure if we did text join text before. So I know I did text before for us. I'm not sure. Okay, so let's look at it, text to column. So for example, if I want to split this data into columns, there are ways to do it. If I want to split this data based on hyphen to give me for example, the other time I showed us this text before, that any text before this delimiter, I select this and it should give me the text before this first hyphen. The delimiter is the hyphen. So it's asking me what's the delimiter I want to use. I tell it the hyphen, then what is the mode? Instance mode. Do I want to select it based on the first delimiter or the second? I'll say the second delimiter. So that means it's going to give me off space hyphen PA. So I'll say the second delimiter, and that is it. So you can see if I say it's 1, that means it should count, it should give me the text before the first delimiter. It should give me off. Can you see that? So that is just one way to split. But what if I just want to use another method? Because you discover that in Excel there are many ways to achieve the same thing based on your preference. You can use split data into multiple columns. So what I would do is I'll come here. So what I'm going to do is come here. Then what does it say? Use Ctrl H. Okay, let's look at it properly. So I'll go to data view, and there should be a place to split our data into column. So let's look at it properly. So let me search for it if I'm not seeing it. Yeah, so you can see text to column. So I was looking for text to column. So it's text to column. If you're not seeing it on your tab, just search text to column split. So I've seen text to column is asking me for delimiter, right? So I'll click next. and I would say the delimiter should be dash, because I want it to split the text into different columns based on, anything. You should use this hyphen to split them. So you see off, anything before the first hyphen, it is in one column. The one in between the two hyphens is in one column. The one after the last hyphen is in one column. So I click next, and general and all of that. So okay, now the reason why it's bringing this up is because there is another column here. The way this formula works is it is expecting that all the columns beside to the right of this column we are trying to split are empty, because it will overwrite them if I click OK. But I don't want to do that. Okay, let me just click OK, and you see that. Can you see that? So we have so what it has done is the original column, it replaced it with the first delimited value, the second column beside replace the second delimited value, and the third. So let's undo it, Ctrl Z. So that's how that one works. So let's also do it again. Text to column, text to column, or rather I'll just say split. Cannot say that. So split, I'll come here, yes, then I'm going to say destination. So it's asking me for destination. I should be able to change destination. So if I say K, if I should change it to K, it will leave the original one for me and start placing them from K going forward. Yes, I want to replace. So you can see that I have my original value here, but this time around it has replaced this one with the first one, second one, and third one. Yes. All right, so the next thing we want to deal with here is data preparation in Power Query. And you discover that in Excel is a very powerful tool, very, very good tool. And in Excel, there is a tool called Power Query, and that tool is also in Power BI. Some of you are familiar with Power BI. Power BI is a more advanced business intelligence tool, a more advanced BI tool that we use for some business intelligence analytics. Right, so Power Query is an ETL tool, extract, transform, and load. So ETL is a data warehouse in concepts where we extract data from the source, transform the data, and load it into our analytics engine for analysis. ETL is a general tool in data. You can do ETL with Excel, with Python, with Java, just leave that. But you can do ETL with Python, you can do it with SQL, with R, and all of that. Yes, but some are easier to be used than other. And we have so many business intelligence tools out there that we can use for our basic ETL for data analysis. Tableau, Power BI, and also Excel. Good old Excel. So Power Query is an ETL tool. Look at it here. Power Query is a powerful data transformation tool and automation tool in Excel that allows us to connect, clean, and reshape data with ease. It enables importing data from multiple sources, CSV file, database, web, etc., and performing ETL operations without complex formulas or manual work. So you see all of those stress we went to when we were manipulating our data, text to column, all these formulas we are using. Yes, it's good. It's good to know. It's good to know them. Yes, but you see, Power Query is a more advanced, much more advanced way of transforming your data. You want to remove duplicates, you want to filter, you want to clean the data, you want to merge all those formulas you're having to learn and all of that. They are stressful, right? So you could just use Power Query directly, and is a key component of Power BI also, but we can also use it in Excel. So let's go to Power Query in Excel. So the first way to use Power Query in Excel, let me create a new Excel file. So I have, this is my file here, basic formulas for data interaction, and I have it here. I have it stored on my laptop. So I'll create a new Excel file. So when I create a new Excel file, I'm going to go directly to data. Look at my cursor, you see data here, and I click get data. So you say launch Power Query editor or get data or whatever. So I click get data. Power Query is quite interesting and more advanced way of transforming your data than using Excel formulas. So you can get data from a database, you get data from old data field, from different places. So the Power Query in Excel is not as powerful as the Power Query in Power BI. I must say that the Power Query in Power BI is more robust in terms of how it can connect to data from different environments, different data warehouse, different databases. So Power Query in Excel is not as advanced for connecting to data from different data sources than the one in Power BI. But let's see. So I want to bring data from an Excel workbook. This is our data here. Can you see? And I'll just click get. So the moment I get, that data that I use is this one. Can you see that? This one that I use. So I'll come here and I'll click next. So you say connecting to data source. Now it has shown me all the columns that we created. Can you see? Orders raw, product sheet. So I'm connecting to our Excel sheet using Power Query in another Excel sheet. So what I'm going to do is I want to bring in the product and the orders raw table. Remember, look at it here. Products. Okay, it's not going to allow me to click until I close this because both of them are Excel. So you see here, product, orders raw, right? That's what I want to import into this Excel sheet. So what if now you may ask, okay, so what all this stress for? Like, why can't you just use it directly? Why are we having to use Power Query now? Imagine you want to connect to data in the database and you don't have the luxury of seeing them in Excel like this, the way you are seeing them here. That is the advantage of all of this. So just learn Power Query. Follow me closely. So Power Query, I want to just bring this two in. And if I load data to take it, that it will dump it directly into this Excel sheet. But I want to transform the data first. So all those formulas we were learning, all these formulas we were learning here, just be able to know how to transform, clean our data, all this if it's blank, all of those things. Yes, it's good to know how to use them in Excel sheet, but I can use Power Query for those things and much more, and even faster and more advanced. So I'm going to click transform data. It will open the Power Query editor for me. And the Power Query also has its own formula, but we are not going to be doing that. You see, all of these things, all of these processes are already generated by the engine, backend by the Power Query. So this language, if I open advanced editor now, you see that there's a script here. So this language is called M language. M, capital letter M for mango. So this language is called M language, right? But don't worry yourself about that. That's just some information. But you don't need to. You can do a lot of things without using the M language. But when you want to start doing more advanced stuff, you need to know how to do some editing. Know how to use the M language for your ETL operations. So let's look at the first thing we want to use Power Query for. We want to remove duplicates. So let's look at this data that we had in product before. Remember that we are able to use the formula to identify duplicates. So we have brought that same data into Power Query. How do we remove duplicates? So the reason why we are seeing duplicate status is because we had identified them here already before. What if we have not used that formula to identify the duplicates? How are you going to know that they are duplicates? So for example, I'm going to right click and delete. I'll just delete this table. Let me just delete this for now. So I want to remove this. Just hold on. So it's asking me to duplicate columns. No, I don't want to duplicate columns. I want to remove this. So just hold on. So we'll see okay, so for some reason it's not giving me the option to delete, but let's go on. So let's say for example we want to remove duplicates. Now we have already seen a table identifying duplicates for us, which is here. So I don't need to use this. I don't need to use this. I don't need to use this one. So what I'm just going to do is remove column. Yes, exactly. So what I'm looking for is remove column. I'll just say remove column. In fact, I want to remove the 2 columns because I don't need them. So I want to remove the 2 columns. Remove columns. So I've removed the column to the original way it was. So when I took that step, notice that it's added an extra step. Every action you perform here is added as an extra step in your apply step. It's showing you all your steps you have applied, and it is generating the code. You look at this is a step I just applied. Look at it. I removed the columns, so this is the formula. This is the code that I used to remove the column, but I didn't have to write the code. It generated the code itself for me. All I just needed to do was remove the code, remove the column myself. So now let's say we don't have those 2 columns to tell us where duplicates are. We don't know where duplicates are in this data. How do I remove duplicates? That's the first thing. We want to remove duplicates option. So how do I remove duplicates? So for example, I'm going to come here and I will just say remove duplicates, or rather I will just highlight all the columns, press Ctrl down to highlight all the columns, or just press Ctrl A, right? So press Ctrl A, it has highlighted all the columns here, and I'll right click. I can either say right click, or I would come here. If I should come here now, I should see a place where I can remove duplicates. So choose column. No, this is not what I want to do. So there should be a place to remove duplicate. There are many ways to achieve the same thing. I can right click now and click remove duplicate. Yes, but there's also another way. You can find it here if you don't want to do it, but this is just like a shorter way of doing it. So I just come here. There should be a remove duplicate option here. Good. So under remove rows, under the home tab, remove rows, you see what? Remove duplicate. So I can use it through this place, or I can just right click on any of these columns here and say remove duplicates. So now, before we remove duplicate, let's count how many rows of data do we have. We have, look, follow my cursor here. We have 4 columns. Can you see? Look at my cursor. See my cursor, follow it down. So we have 4 columns, which is true, and 39 rows, which is true. So the moment I remove duplicates, the number of rows should reduce. Can you see that we have removed the duplicates from the data? That means we have still 4 columns, but this time around 34 columns. That means any row that there is duplicate, let's say for example, if this row 7 is appearing twice, the same information is appearing in row 7, in row 8. What it will do is it will remove row 8 because it's the same information in row 7 and keep row 7. So it's not going to delete both, it just remove the other duplicate and keep the original one. That's how it works. This time around, you didn't have to start doing formula or all of those things. Yes. Replace null values. How do we replace null values? So for example, empty spaces null. So for example, you recall when I altered this data in orders row, right? This is orders row. So this is the products table. I've moved to the orders row. I'm no more in that products table. So recall when I used the exact formula back then to identify missing values and all of that. So now we want to fill up this null, replace null values using replace value function. So what do I do? All I just need to do is right click, right? There should be a replace value. Can you see replace value? Replace value. So I will say anywhere it says null, it should replace it with what? I can say a digit if I have a digit in mind, or replace values to find, replace null values. So before I do that, let me explain something. Anytime you bring data into Power Query, every column should have a data type. A column cannot have more than one data type. What do I mean? So how do you identify the data type for a column? You already know that the data type in this column is numbers. That is why it automatically assigns numbers to it. It has assigned numbers to it. What of this one? This is a text. This is a text string. Even though it has numbers, this is a text string because you cannot say this is a number that you can use for calculation. But another thing I want to challenge you is, even though these are numbers, even though these are numbers, I would rather prefer that we use what we identify this as a text. I can change the data type of this number to text because there is no calculation you want to do with row ID actually. The reason why we have row ID is what? Just to number of rows, row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, just like serial number, right? So since knowing that this is serial number, right? Since know that this is a serial number, we don't need it as a number. It's actually a number to order our data. So we don't need it for any calculation. So I will just change it to text. If I want to change the data type from number to text or text to number or to anything, I will just click on this place, see, and click text. It will say add new step or replace current step. If I add new step, it's going to create an extra step. If I want to replace current step, right? So I'll just say this. So it has changed my text towards my number to text, and it has moved them to text string. So then this one should be number. Sales should be number because we want to do sales calculation. So I'm going to change this from this to number, and watch, the moment I do it, it is going to give me an error because these are not numbers, these are not numbers. So see it, I'll change it to what? Numbers decimal. I can change to whole number or decimal, but I prefer decimal. The moment I do it, it has brought an error. Why? The reason I gave me an error is because you recall these were formerly texts. So it is telling you that since we have decided to choose this column as a decimal number format, these text string that are here, they are not supposed to be here. The engine recognizes it, so it's bringing error. So what do? Anywhere I find errors, this is data cleaning process, I just say replace errors. Replace errors with what? Missing value. Can you see? Where's our sales? Our sales. Yes, look at our sales here. Look at it. Missing values. So those places that had errors before, they have been changed to what? Missing values. The same thing goes for so at this one I don't need this, and we definitely don't need this too. So I'm going to press shift down and remove these columns. So you see sales. I'm also going to remove this because we used it in the previous column. Remove columns. Good. So we have replaced with missing value. What if we want to replace null, right? I can say null should be what? I will say anywhere it says null, you should replace it with missing value still, just to unify my data. So it's saying value should be a number. So anywhere it says null, most likely I will just say replace it with 0. Can you see it? Just like that. It's just as simple as that, and it has given us what we wanted. So we can now do, any other cleaning. We've learned how to change data type. I can change this data type. This one, postal code too. Yes, even though it is numbers, there is no calculation you want to do with postal code. There are some numbers that they are not really numbers, they are keys. They are keys. Let's say, for example, your name is Bimpe Solomon or Ngozi, and while you are registering for a conference or to your school, they give you a matric number, or they give you a matric number. They give you a matric number 1002239. Even though it is a number, can you actually do any calculation with that? Does it make sense to do calculation with a matric number, to multiply it by? Is it a number for multiplication? No, it's a number for identification. So there are cases where you see numbers in your data. Some of them it makes sense. It's just common sense when you see numbers as revenue or sales. This is for calculation. We can do total number of sales. But when you see number as postal code, it does not make sense. Why do you want to do any calculation of postal code? It doesn't really make sense, right? So what do? We change this one from numbers. I want to represent it as a what? Text. Can you see that? So that's how to change data type in this. Then automatically it has recognized that these are date columns. Can you see? Dates. That's why it's putting them as dates. Date columns. So this is how to just briefly use Power Query, merge, trim, and all that. So another thing I want to do is in this orders table, we have product ID. We have product ID. So let's say, for example, we don't have customer name. We just have customer ID. Can you see? We only have customer ID in this place. We need to be able to bring, I want to identify customer names in this table, but we don't have that information here. We don't also have that information here, but I know that we have that information in this customers name table here. So what I'm just going to do is right click and okay, I'll just come here. Can you see under the home tab, get data from Excel? I'll browse, I'll go to that my file, and next I'll bring in the customer dimension table, which is here. Can you see this one has the column ID and column the customer name? So I'm going to click create. So it has brought it in, but there's a problem. You discover that the column headers are seen as part of the data. That's not what we want. In scenarios like this, it is easy for you to just, there's a function, there's a a function here. Many of these things you can do it just by clicking. You don't need to be typing formulas in the way you do in Excel. Under the home tab, you just see use first row as header. Can you see use first row as header? What it will do is the moment I click it, it will make the column headers as this first row. So let's do it. So can you see now we now have our column headers correct, custom ID, custom name, custom segment. Now I want to now bring column name. I'm sorry, I say column name, customer name. We only have customer ID. I want to be able to bring customer name into this orders table. How do I do that? That is where we talk about what joins, merging tables together. And how do I do that? All I need to do is I'll come to this place. I'll say merge queries. Can you see merge queries? Merge queries. And it has identified the first table I want to use. It's not asking me which table, where is the table you want to bring data from. I will say customer dimension table. Then which column do you want to use to merge them, as a primary key, as a foreign key. Now these are data warehousing concepts. There may not be time to go far into it, but just follow me. Now customer ID. So we are using customer ID. The reason why I use customer ID is because we have customer ID here and we have customer ID here. We have customer ID in the orders raw table, which is what we will use to as a connection to the other table where there's also what customer ID. So if there's customer ID in the orders raw table, now there's also customer ID in the customers name table. That is what we let the Power Query know that this is what these are the two columns used to connect the two tables together, so that we can now use it to bring customer name into the orders raw table. So I've said you should use this one, customer ID in the orders raw table and the customer ID in the orders in the customer dimension table. Now, what do we have here is the different type of join options. This if in your set theory, some of you are mathematical students, there's this concept is from set theory basically, but I don't go into mathematics. But what this basically is the type of join. If I should select left outer, it will bring all the information in this table and select only the one that matches in this second table. If I should select right outer, it will select all the information in this table, this customer dimension table, and select only the information that matches with it in this orders raw table, right? If I should select full outer, it will bring all of them together, right? So let me just by default just use left outer table, and I'll select OK. So now it has brought it in, but it doesn't still look like what we want. So since it has brought it in, there's a table, there's something to click here. I will click these two arrows that look like they are separated apart. So once I click it, what I'm now going to do is I'll just say customer name. So you see now that we have customer name brought into this table. I can also drag it by clicking now on my how you want to drag something from one. Just click on your cursor, click it down, then drag. Where is it? Yeah, we have customer name, so I want to drag it to the side of customer ID. So I have it here, customer ID, customer name. So we have been able to bring customer ID, customer name into our table. Then Once I'm done with all my transformation, I will just close and load. All right, so our data has loaded from Power Query. As you can see, if I go back to launch Power Query editor, all the transformations that we did here, you can see them here. And when we brought the column name, look at the customer name, sorry, into orders table and all of that. So close and load. And so this is our data. This is how it appears. This orders table, the orders raw table did not have customer name before, but we have brought it in. We have removed duplicate. We have replaced the text with zeros, right? Can you see them? All these places had text before. So the last thing we want to do here now is just do some charts, visualizations. Visualization makes it easier to identify trends, compare values, and communicate insights effectively, right? You can use bar charts in using pivot table, and we've done pivot table. We've used pivot table before, so I'm just going to quickly do a pivot table from here. So I'll select all. Right now I'll click on the one of the column headers and select all. Then I'm going to come here and I'll just search for pivots. So I'm going to create a pivot table from this, and it will create it in a new sheet. So now I have my pivot table. I want to do some analysis like we did the last time. So how do I do that? I want to create a total revenue by city visualization. So before I do that, I will need to put the table first before doing the chart. So what do? I want to total revenue by city. So sales is our revenue, and we want to do it by city, right? So we have done that, and since we have done that, now we can insert a chart. So what I'm going to do is I'll click on my pivot table here. Can you see? Under the pivot table analysis, look at my cursor. Under the pivot table analysis, I'll click on pivot charts. Automatically, it creates a chart for me for my table. Right? It creates a chart for me for my table. So this is looking a bit messy. This is based on customer name, or sorry, city name. So what if, for example, we want to be able to categorize them based on product. So let's look at our data again, because when you are doing analysis, you have to be sure that even if you are doing some analysis, you want to be sure that it is not looking too rough. So let's look at it. This is looking too, you can almost not do get any meaningful insight from this. So if there's a way for us to categorize our data, maybe our city into regions, it would have been better, right? But this is one of the ways you can create a bar chart, maybe total revenue by city or total revenue by customer and all of that. So let's say, for example, we want to do total revenue by customer category. And in this table, we don't have customer category. Can you see? There's no customer category here. We don't have customer category in our orders raw table, where we are using to create a visualization. So what do? I would come back and go to my Power Query. I'll come to data, come to Power Query, launch query editor. I want to bring customer category. I know I have customer category in this place, or customer segment, whether segment or category. So this is segment. I can as well rename it to customer category by I'll just double click on it and say customer what? Category, based on how I like it. So since I've updated the name, you see that an extra step was created here. So I've changed it to customer category. Then I will come here and under this is Power Query now. In my orders raw table, I'm going to come to merge, and I want to use customer ID column, connect it to customer ID column in the other table. Then I want to bring in my customer category. So you see it's going to load. So when I click this place now, I'm just going to select customer category. You see that? So I have my customer category now inside my data, and I'll close and load. So my customer category is now here. So since it is now inside the data we are using, all I need to do is come to my pivot table. You see change source, right? So it is going to capture it already. Good. So we should see customer category in this place just by refreshing. So let us refresh our pivot table. So we should be able to see customer category. Excellent. So we've seen customer category. So this time around, I don't want to plot it based on city. I want to plot it based on customer category. So we see that we've been able to get some insights, but we are seeing that, okay, the customer category that is giving us the highest amount of sales is consumer, because in that business, they have all their customers are categorized into 3 categories. Customers that buy home office furniture, customers that buy corporate furnitures, and customers that buy direct things from them. So they have consumers, corporate, and home office. So in all of these categories, right, the category or the customer segment that is giving them the highest revenue is the consumer section. So you can see that we've discovered insights. We've been able to gain insights just by doing this chart and analysis. The same way, we could also use a line chart, group them by month to observe trends. So let's do this. I'm just going to do copy all of this. Can you see? Just follow me. I'm just going to copy all of this together. I'll come here. I don't want to use a different sheet, so I just come here, paste it. It will duplicate. This is just me duplicating my words pivot table. So, but this time around, I don't want to do analysis of total sales by city. I want to see total sales trend over a period of time. You know, that's a very, very valuable analysis. Let us see our sales trend. Let us see our sales trend from 2016 to 2018. How do we do that? So what I'm just going to do is I will remove this customer segment and I will bring in my order date. So if once I do that, I'm now going to create a pivot chart from it. So I'll come to what pivot table analysis, follow my cursor, pivot table analysis, and I'll create a pivot chart. So it is giving me in terms of year, which is good. It is breaking it down for me. So it's telling me of all the sales, the year 2018 is the year we had the highest revenue. Good, excellent. But what if I don't want it like that? What if I want to represent it as a line chart? I want to use a different kind of chart. Instead of using a bar chart this time around, I want to change it to line chart. What do? I click on this. I should see a place to change chart type. Can you see? I right click, change chart type, and I can say line. I'll select line, yes, and I'm going to give it this. So it is giving me that line chart. Then this time around, I'm going to say, okay, I want to see it in terms of months. So what I'm going to do is I should expand this. It is giving me in terms of quarter, and I'm going to expand this. Can you see? I keep expanding it, and it keeps giving us our data. Can you see that? So I'm going to expand this too, and I'm going to expand this too, and I'm going to expand this too. So by the time we check our data, where is it? Good. So look at it now. Just by expanding, it has already understood that, okay, we want to see the analysis not just based on year. We want to see it based on quarter of each year and month of each quarter. So we see 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. Then we are seeing for each quarter of that year and for each month of the quarter. So you see that we're going to, through line charts, get a sales trend in the past 3 years. That is in the past 36 months. So this is ways to get insight from your data, and this is an excellent way of giving insight on all of that. So this is how you are able to use Excel. We have been able to touch on Power Query, joining your data, bringing it in, and visualizing it. So lastly, I have an assignment for us. This is meant to be submitted in the next 24 hours. So this is meant to be submitted in the next 24 hours. Everyone is expected to submit it before the final masterclass session. So look at this. We are going to share this with you. We are going to share this PDF with you for you to use. So ensure that you do everything in this assignment before the last masterclass session. Thank you very much, and see you in the last masterclass session. You don't want to miss the last masterclass session.